I'm in a mood today because I had Red Bull and a whole bunch of alcohol last night and it's still in my system. So let's do what we can and see what the fuck happens. I'm gonna just start blasting off my most volatile opinions off the bat. Number one, I really want to fuck Luigi Manchin or whatever the fuck you pronounce his name. But even though I learned of his politics, well, I haven't digged that deep because to me it doesn't fucking matter. This is the rare chance in history where it's like this is a guy who probably is some right wing Republican stupid pussy ass bitch. But he's not a pussy ass bitch. He proved it. Because how do I put this? Because some of y'all are out here fucking murdering homeless men on fucking train cars unnecessarily. Just because they're stressed about their fucking money and funds. Like some of y'all are just out here shooting people at protests and being fucking lame ass bitches. And it's like, why are you like you're fighting for the wrong fucking cause? You know what the CEO shooter did? He said, fuck the fact that my family and everyone is suffering because of greedy fucking CEOs in the healthcare industry. We need to start blasting motherfuckers. And he did. He got motherfuckers out. Perfect execution and everything. Now, my next controversial opinion is that do I think it really was Luigi Mangione? I'll just say it. Cops are known to lie to people. They have. I remember I had a job where sorry. That's not funny. We know I have a job. Shut up. I just remembered how foolish this was. I had a job and I remember I took a little bit too long of a break and during that time, ooh, this fucking random dude, I guess, trying to deliver a DoorDash order just decided, you know what? I'm gonna steal like a huge box of furniture. Like he literally, you see him on camera dragging this huge fucking like damn near 8 foot high box that was as like imagine like two mattresses stacked on top of each other. It's like nigga just fully took that and left. He stole someone's couch. That was fucked. And then on top of that, it's anyway, let's just say my boss was like, "Hey, as long as you don't take breaks that long again, you should be good." But they were like, "But we are going to need you to file a police report." I said, "Okay." I called the cops and like they were like, "Oh, it's not an emergency. You can't call us." So like if he's already gone, you have to call non-emergency. I call non-emergency. They're like, "Oh, we can't take a police report over the phone. So actually, you have to go to this exact precinct and file a police report because we absolutely cannot send a car out to you, and we absolutely like you can't just call us and we'll like meet you at the scene of the crime. You have to meet us and file a report on your own time." Which is fucking. I already thought that was total fucking. I want to say the R word so bad. I'm gonna say that was very stupid. And I like millions of fucking TV shows and cop shows let me know that's not correct, but whatever. Oh, cops. And then let's just say I remember I was so tired after that shift. I went to the fucking far ass police precinct and everything. I went hella far out to that precinct. It was like 10 when I got there. I was like, "Hi, I was told on the phone by an officer to come to this exact precinct and file a police report." And the two single officers not doing shit there were like, "Oh, huh. I don't get why they tell you that. We don't do police reports here at all. Yeah, we don't do police reports. Like, you're a police station. What do you mean?" And then they said, next time just call them and say that a crime happened and they have to meet you at the destination and the location so that they can just do a police report." So yeah, cops will just fucking lie for no reason. Also, I'm gonna be honest, I don't fucking like cops. I don't. I don't give a fucking shit about cops. I personally do not. And if before you are like, "Oh, I do it," shut up. There was a huge sex scandal in my city because a bunch of cops collectively decided to rape and sexually abuse a girl who was like fucking, she was like, I think she was like 14, 15. And she was sadly, she had a rough life. She was on the streets and, doing certain acts that obviously a child can't consent to. She was basically being sex trafficked. And then these motherfuckers wanted to be all, "Ooh, we're gonna arrest you unless you suck our dicks." And they, like, collectively, it was huge. It was a huge fucking scandal. It was terrible. And it's like that, and then also not too far from my area, there was also a huge fucking case where it was like breaking news. The fucking lead sheriff and like these people in this like county and this police precinct, like a whole bunch of cops and the fucking ringleader, the fucking sheriff, and I think even the mayor, they all got fucking exposed because they were distributing drugs. The cops out here are giving drugs to the people. I don't even like people like and also I remember I specifically it was sometime around like New Year's or whatever. And I remember I was like I was fucking I went inside of the little train station, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking enjoy a train ride, even though I hate going on trains because it's always some stupid fucking crackhead bullshit. And then guess what? And also, another opinion of mine, I don't give a fuck about the word crackhead anymore because crackheads don't give a fuck about me. Do you know how many times a crackhead has came up to me and said, yeah, that's right, I'll slit your fucking throat, bitch, unprovoked? If I had a nickel for every fucking time that has happened, I'd have like 2, maybe 3 nickels, which isn't a lot. It's just weird that it happened like twice, thrice, you know? But anyway, this tweaker bitch was like, there was me and another girl and like 7 fucking officers. And the 7 officers were not getting involved whatsoever. They were just standing around staring at the chick. And then, mind you, the chick was like breaking shit and slamming things around and hitting herself and going insane and crazy and making a scene. And then on top of that, the crazy tweaker bitch full on tried to attack the little white girl and got very close to doing so. And then the tweaker bitch actually came up and randomly tried to assault me and hit me. And she did kind of graze me a bit. And I was like, bitch, back the fuck up. Oh my god. And yeah, and then she threw something at me and like was acting a total ass. And it's like, I just looked at the fucking cops. And despite how cops, I just kind of knew, it's like, wouldn't it be ironic if they just fully did not stop this fucking mentally ill individual who's fucking attacking people? But then the second I say, fuck you stupid pigs, do your fucking job, they would just decide, hey, let's collectively kill this chick. Because she doesn't like us, and that's worse. But even then, I was like, can you do your fucking job? What the fuck is wrong with you? And I was hella pissed, because fuck cops. I don't like cops. Like, how do I put this? I do think there needs to be some presence available that can help people, but I think cops have just proven themselves fucking useless. But I don't agree with people who are abolitionists. I'm sorry. Like, how do I put this? If we want to live in a la-la land, sure. You know, if we want to live in La La Land, we can say that, ooh, no one should ever have a gun. No, cops are good people, and not all cops are bad. But sadly, we live in a world where, sadly, even someone like me, I don't fully, like, I used to be I still am mostly, how do I put this? My stance on gun control changed after enough years of seeing enough violence increasingly happen towards women, and cops did nothing. Especially black women. And then it's like, yeah. So simply put, if you gotta pop a nigga, you gotta pop a nigga. I'm just saying. Because it's getting crazy out here in these streets, and the people who were already bad are getting worse and more bold. So I'll put it to you like this. If you're in a room with a crazy man with a gun, and no one's taking away his gun, wouldn't it be nice if you also had a gun? So that you can also protect where you can? So that's how I feel on that. But also, I'm not for, like, how do I put this? I think a lot of things can be reformed. But I don't like people who are just totally naive. I had this girl recently. I met her. We had like a weird sort of not quite date, sort of friend hangout. It was nice. It was pleasant. She's a lovely girl. But we did butt heads a little bit over prison abolition stuff and also violence. Some people are so anti-violence. I hate to break it to you. I am pro-violence. I used to be anti-violence, but that was back when I lived in the La La Land, where I thought that, you know, people just need, you know, it's not like in the movies. It's not like the CEO will just have like a really nice, like, small Christmas gift given to him by a small child and suddenly realize, ooh, you know what, I don't have to be a Scrooge, I need to give back to the poor. No, you need to start shooting motherfuckers dead in the street. It's not it's not a fucking storybook. You gotta shoot bitches dead in the street sometime. I'm just saying. Like, people shit on the Black Panther Party. But it's like, I'm gonna be honest. How do I put this? They weren't doing shit that was bad. And the only motherfuckers who don't know, like, ooh, it's so weird. I remember I dated this white Marxist. He was a lame-ass, fuck-ass, punk-ass bitch in a lot of ways. Fuck him. Suck his dick. I mean, sorry. Well, sorry. What? Suck it. He can suck my dick is what I meant to say. I did suck his. Well, shut up. Let's not talk about that right now. It was a weird relationship. Weird shit happened. Also, violence happened. I was the one throwing hands, because sometimes you need to throw hands. But, you know, I didn't need to. I wanted to. It's important to try not to throw hands. Anyway, let's just say it like this. Some of these motherfuckers are not being taught anything. So they'll just go their whole lives like, I don't know what the Black Panther Party did. I haven't heard about them. And I have and they'll have all these opinions on, like, race and class and all this and all that. But they don't know. It's like, nigga, how do you live in the area where this, I had to be like, you do know they were started here, right? He was like, word? I said, yeah, they were started here. Like, huge. They were huge deals out here. And then on top of that, and I told him the layout, the rundown, everything. And then for some of these people I meet, like, they'll just be like, what the, like, They'll be like, oh, I thought they were just criminals who were robbing and killing people. No, that's what people want you to think because they're fucking stupid and they're purposely trying to stop your fucking education. That's why they're banning books and shit now, because they don't want you to learn certain things, or else you'll start looking at things a little funny. You'll start looking at things a little different. But yeah, so I don't know why. Oh, it's because I think I'm just blushing because I'm still a little tipsy from last night. So, as you can probably imagine. But simply put, it's like, no, they were feeding fucking kids. They were fucking setting up community breakfasts. Simply put, they just made it a deal where it's like, oh, we have the right to bear arms, and we don't like cops coming into our community to like fucking harass black children and rape our women or abuse us when we get the fucking chance. So simply put, me and my homies are gonna wear cute black berets and some black leather jackets and look very fucking nice, and we're gonna be very civil with our community and patrol our own communities, and we're going to have guns because there's nothing saying that I can't have a gun. Like, it's like yeah. And then simply put, that shit did help. Like, it helped in adjacent to Martin Luther King. Because simply put, no offense, whenever people talk about the Martin Luther King shit, it kind of pisses me off. Because, I'll put it this way, not all of us are cut out to just sit on the sidelines and get hosed down and attacked with wild dogs so that fucking white people or people of other races can go, like, who were probably fine with you being treated subhuman and degraded and all that shit. You know? It's like, how do I put this? They were already fine with you being mistreated. And then it's like, oh yeah, like, if anything, if I recall correctly, I could be wrong though, it went on for a long-ass fucking time. A long-ass fucking time. An incredibly, extremely long fucking time. It's like, yeah. Simply put, it's like, yeah, do you really want to sit, like, I'll just put it to you like this. I don't, like, you wanted sympathy from the same people who saw you swimming in pools and decided to throw acid and bleach on you? Like, it's like, you know, like, I don't know how to phrase this. Maybe I am a little too drunk. I'll just put it like this. I'm not trying to, okay, you know what, fuck it. Mask off. I think it's stupid as fuck. I think it's dumb as fuck. I support that it happened. I'm glad it happened. Shout out to Martin Luther King and all the people who protested and shit. I'm just saying, I am glad that also someone else went, you know what? Fuck this nonviolence shit. I'm gonna have a gun. I'm going to have a gun and patrol my community. And we are going to look scary. Because panthers don't attack until they're backed into a corner. And we refuse to be backed into a corner. And I respect that. That more aligns with my politics. Shout out to Martin Luther King, though. Like, I'm not saying he a bad, well, okay, he did cheat on his wife endlessly. Like, god damn. But let's not talk about it, though. Like, he still did good. I'm not saying he bad. I'm just saying, thank God for the Black Panther Party. I'm glad that they coexisted. They weren't even around that long, but I sure bet they accelerated some shit. I don't know. And I also hate it whenever people push a narrative that peace is the only way. Because simply put, we saw a motherfucking CEO get fucking a bullet through his goddamn chest. And the whole world is being like, yes, 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 finally, more, who's next? Go. And like, I'm just saying. Like, sometimes I think it's necessary. Sometimes I think it's like, yeah, when people, during George Floyd, it's like, yeah, all those officers stood around that fucking man and decided, yeah, we're gonna put my fucking knee on his neck. And then on top of that, we're gonna leave it there for an extremely long time so that he obviously fucking dies. And then they wanted us to just be like, yeah, slap on the wrist. Like, no. It's like, I'm glad they burned down that police precinct. They deserved it. I'm glad niggas were setting shit on fire and looting in the streets and going apeshit. I'm happy about that because that's what the world fucking needed. The world was already chaotic enough. We were just bringing it out into the public that we were finally sick and fucking tired of it. Also, I hate people who get online and they say that, like, they try to dismiss things like cheating or racism. And it's always, like, I don't know. It's always people who, it's just their way of telling on themselves. They just tell on themselves. That's what they do. Like, I remember this one dude I was so-called friends with, you know, as much, as friendly as, like, someone who's, like, 17, 18 could be friends with a dude who's, like, pushing 30. And, oh my god, his name was Pedro, I think it was Pedro. I forget it. It was pronounced stupid. Either way, he was a lame ass bitch. I'm grateful for that he was around to an extent in my life, but in a way, it's like, yeah, I think he really was just trying to prey on me and really, really was hoping it would work in his favor. And then he got salty because it wasn't. It's like, oh no, it turns out I do just want you to be a friend to me. Indeed. But, like, he was the type of nigga where I could say something like, "Oh yeah, I was like viciously abused, like physically and verbally, and also like sexually manipulated, and had my nudes spread around in high school, all because of like one really terrible guy. And the way I got revenge on him was that, simply put, I just dedicated myself to becoming his absolute dream girl, and then I dated him just to like crush him emotionally by using him as a human wallet, while never ever ever truly loving him, liking him, and messing with his emotions back. And I did that for like 3 months, as I was also being very open and parading around another dude who I was very openly crushing on in front of him. And then Pedro was the type of guy to be like, wow, that's fucked up. But at the same time, whenever I said anything bad that like happened to me in terms of like rape or sexual assault or revenge porn or anything bad, or like hell, that whole 3 year relationship and a lot of the shit that happened to me as a kid, I didn't fucking deserve. But he wanted to be like, oh, he's just a kid. He, boys will be boys. Um, yeah, I was also a kid. I was just a girl. And also, how, like, he was the type of nigga to be like, wow, like, sure, like, revenge porn and being horny and abusive and hitting you and calling you a whore and a slut and being awful to you, like, that's bad. Sure, but he was a boy. I know it happened for 3 years, but he was a boy. And then it's like, wow, I can't believe that you made a rich boy who lived in a $2 million home and always bragged about his endless amounts of cash and how he could buy Louis Vuitton if he wanted to and not go broke. I can't believe that you made him pay for like movie tickets sometimes, like $16 movie tickets, or like an occasional like cheeseburger, or like a few items at Forever 21. Wow. You are evil. Like, shut the fuck up, bitch. He was the evil one, because Pedro, you're ugly, stupid bitch ass. Like, he was. Oh, Pedro was a cunt. Like, how do I put this? I already also. This poli shit or is getting out of hand, or whatever the fuck they call it these days. Like, me, I'm very open in the fact that it's like, I'm just someone who just refuses to be monogamous. That's me. I'm very open about that. Because it's like, yeah, I kind of decided after my very lovely year-long relationship with Liam, I kind of knew with that nigga, I was like, I'm either going to be celibate or the biggest fucking whore, most gold-digging, grubby bitch known to man. I'm either going to be a fucking just lonely and isolated and never touch a man again, or I'm going to be touching every man and letting every man touch me, and women, and non-binary person, and maybe even some inanimate objects along the way, because we freaky like that, you know? Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck me. And then I somehow did both. Somehow I'm like a little bit of both, yeah. But it's like, because with Pedro, what happened with Pedro, right? If you're following along, he had a girlfriend, but with him, it was like, yeah, this is my girlfriend of like 7 years. Yeah, we decided to open it up a while ago. Like, she wasn't into it at first, but I eventually convinced her, and, she doesn't see anyone else, though. She wouldn't do that to me, no. But I can see whoever I want. But she would never see anyone else. No, that would be disrespectful to me. Like, it's like, or just like, yeah, she just stays at home. Yeah. She just watches a lot of TV and just lies in bed a lot. She's kind of boring like that. It sounds like she's depressed. It sounds like you're a terrible fucking person, dude. Like, Jesus. And I remember I had a date with this one guy. It was a paid date, $500 fucking dollars just to go out on a dinner date with this terrible fucking man. Oh my god, he was awful, but the money was so good, and so was the food. His company was fucking disgustingly bad though. And with that guy, he did it's like these dudes always have the same fucking speech they do. And this guy, he was so blatant in it. He was like, oh, like, and I like it when men kind of do that thing where they kind of don't admit their mistakes, but they let it slip, like, subtly, that they're like a terrible person. So with him, he was like, ooh, well, me and my wife, we've been married a long time. And then after a while, we had some complications, and a little mutual error came to be. And some just issues happened. And once we got over that, we decided that the best thing for us could be to be an open relationship. And she wasn't into it, but eventually I got her on board. I got her on board, and Like, and it's like, and if you're wondering, what does that mean? Translation, he cheated on his fucking wife a lot of endless amounts of times. And then on top of that, then he was like, well, him being the main financial breadwinner, of fucking course, he's gonna be like, how about we have an open relationship? And that's what he did. And of course, she's gonna say yes because she relies on him either out of love or out of desperation because it's like she can't leave. It's fucked up. I don't like Jesus. I think shit like that's disturbing. Just, and like it's so weird. I keep meeting men these days, and I have to tell them it's like you're not a bad person because you don't want to fuck a chick who's fucking like 6 other people. Like just because the option's there doesn't mean you have to take it. You know, that's totally fine for you to not do. Like for like hell, even I, as someone who's not monogamous myself, I don't like people who are non-monogamous. And I know you're like, oh, Timidity, is it because you want to be like some sort of like have a harem of like fucking concubines who are obsessed with you and owning you? Fucking maybe, could be, bitch, maybe, potentially. But for the most part, no. Mainly just because it's like, I'll put it this way. As hypocritical as this may sound, I don't want to be treated like a disposable object. I'm open to, or how do I put this? Maybe it's just easier for me where it's like, this is someone who I'm seeing casually. And we talk and we have fun, and I'm very upfront about what I do. But I'm not really interested in some sort of, here's my polycule, fuck me and my boyfriend. It's like, that just sounds like a lot of work and just, The realest shit I ever heard was when I dated my ex Liam, and his brother said to me, threesomes don't sound appealing to me. It just seems like a lot of work for the exact same outcome. Like, all that just for one nut? Like, it seems kind of unnecessary. He was a bitch ass motherfucker in a lot of ways, but sometimes he did have good ass or extremely amusing opinions. I don't know. Sometimes a broken clock is right twice a day. I also remember, I forgot about this because the pandemic is a blur for me, and it's just hard for me to recall some shit. But to put it simply, oh yeah, I remember. Over the pandemic, my laptop broke and I was trying to raise funds to get a new one. Oh my god. My dad is an asshole. I remember I asked him for the money for that and he could only give me like $200. It's like, nigga, you have a fucking full-time job and all that fucking money and you don't pay child, like, nigga, you can spare the money. Oh, well, it's okay because eventually, like, time passed and he got me an extremely expensive camera that I have yet to use more often because I need to get a charger for it, but whatever. Alright, I forgive him because he got me a $800 camera. I'll forgive him for that. Shout out to him. He finally realized, like, hey, I should put in effort if I want to keep my daughter's attention. It is kind of awkward that eventually, through, like, fucked up relationships, I learned how to have a relationship with my own father, and it was simply just me going, men seem kind of useless. I should use them for money. Like, I just kind of developed the tactic of, like, asking men for money when I want them to fuck off. And then I either get the money or I get them to fuck off. And then eventually it's like, oh, wait, that works with your own biological father, too? Cha-ching! A win! But it's his fault. It's like, he didn't bother to foster any real relationship outside of, like, the rare moments of, like, oh, let's go to dinner. Well, why am I telling you this? Well, I'm just feeling like telling you this. Either way, he's a bitch. But, you know, he ate that one little thing of getting me a camera and a few other small moments. But yeah, he was not that great of a dad. Kind of ironic that I see him as just like any other dude. Just like, oh, you just so happen to be, like, biologically a reason that I exist. And, like, Anyway, what? Oh, yeah, but sorry, I got off topic a bit. Either way, I know that over the pandemic I was looking for shit and I went online on, like, websites, obviously, because I was like, okay, who out here can, like, finance this and get me a new laptop? Let's see. And then lo and behold, there was this motherfucker and, like, his girlfriend. And I'll put it to you like this: 2 5s don't make a 10. Like, yeah. And also, that's another reason I don't like polycule people. It's just like, because it's just, or it's like, what if one of them is hot and the other isn't? Or if they're both ugly, then I'm just offended. How do I put this? Because it's kind of like, if someone who's unattractive shoots their shot with me, it's like, okay, shoot or shoot. But if it's like two ugly people fully sat there and just decided, yeah, we're both fucking ridiculously ugly and mid as fuck and uninteresting, we should really just, like, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. I guess kind of in the way where if you got, like, one splinter in your hand, it's like, oh, ouch, not a fan of that, but life goes on. But if you got two splinters, you're gonna start like cursing God and hating your existence or whatever. Or like how one text from a housemate about an issue is like, it's like, oh, okay, that's fine. But then if it's like two texts about the same issue, it's like, oh, I'm about to beat your ass. It's hard to explain it, but not all good things come in numbers. Sometimes it just is like, it worsens it. It's like, oh, this is twice as bad. It's like you two both, you looked at yourself, and then you looked at another ugly motherfucker, and then you went, yes, this seems like we would be something Timidity would want. Just no. Fuck. I'm like, Jesus. Like, I try to be nice and humble, but then sometimes I have moments where it's like, wow, you really thought you could do that? Wow. Anyway, but on to this couple. They were, I guess they weren't totally fives, but it was one of those things where it's like, the dude was like a 7.5. Like, not quite an 8. Like, you'd look at him and be like, he looks like someone who could have luck sometimes. Like, really good body, like just a butterface man. You like everything but his face. Something about his face just looked uncanny valley. But as for his girlfriend was like a 6.5, but her body was still very banging, but not like the most bangingest body, but it was still pretty nice. So it was like, okay, she's got nice wide hips, flat chest, like, you know, she's not super toned or anything. It's just she looks like a normal woman, you know, like it's like that's a woman. A woman. No notes. But it's like, if you were like any room for improvement, absolutely. But it's like, I'm not gonna say that. But either way, they were like, yeah, we're looking. They were talking about how they were looking for someone to live with them and blah 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 blah. And I kind of like, I thought to myself, this does seem tempting, but I also thought to myself, this seems sus as fuck. And let's just say, the more I talked to them, the dude was kind of hinting like, yeah, you know, she's not bisexual, but she knows that she has mentioned a passing curiosity in women. Like, she's been really, she doesn't, and then he's just been dropping hints that she hasn't fully been wanting to do this, but he talked her into it. And how she's not even bisexual. Like, at most, a little bi curious, but how she's not even bisexual. And, like, but you know, he would keep trying to overpaint it and overlay it with, yeah, it's totally fine. And I was like, hey, like, and also the arrangement they were offering was kind of sus for a lot of reasons. I was like, okay, so let me get this straight. You want someone that has sex with you, and then if they really hit it off with you and your girlfriend, you want them to eventually move in, and you'll take care of everything financially and provide an allowance. That's cool, but what if, like, I don't know, what about if a breakup happens? Is does the person just get tossed out on the street, or like what happens? Also, is your girlfriend allowed to leave this safely? Because I know you said that you also are like the main breadwinner in this relationship too, and you make a lot of money. And like, simply put, I just kind of was like, this sounds all around sus. But you know, he said some shit that almost had me like, like, he kind of was starting to spit a little bit. It's like, okay, I kind of thought to myself, this, I don't know. I'm not saying I was falling for it, or maybe I'm just too humble, or maybe too egotistical, or whatever to admit it. But he made a tempting offer. Let's just say, and he explained certain things where he was like, oh no, we've had meetups with a few women so far, and they've been going good, and trust me, my girlfriend's had more than enough fun, and she's safe to leave anytime she wants, and she wants to do this because she wants to, blah, blah, blah. Okay, okay, cool. But then over time, guess what? The boyfriend had to message me himself and be like, hi, I'm sorry, we actually, like, but I even made it clear. I was like, hey, I'm not looking for like anything long term like that as of now, maybe in the future someday, but as of now, like, maybe for like some sort of like, I just want to get my laptop fixed and get money for that, if you and your girlfriend were down for something like that. And he was like, that sounds nice. Hey, that works for me. I got the money for it. And he was super down. And he talked to his girlfriend about it. Let's just say it was quiet for a few days or so before he finally reached back out to me. And he was like, hey, I'm sorry, we can't do this. My girlfriend said that she doesn't want to go for someone who looks a little bit too different from her, because she's afraid that I would like you more than I like her. If you didn't understand, let me repeat it. These people are looking for a third in their relationship, and the woman just straight up was telling him, you can't go for someone who does not look close enough to me, or does not look like me, or else like you might leave me for her or like her more, and I'm not having that. That for there's so many reasons. Just wow. Okay, there's so many red flags there, black flags even. The main one that stands out is like, why are you looking for a third if you're scared that he's gonna like another bitch more? You're just looking for someone to just toss around or have as a casual plaything. Like, I don't like. You don't want it to be even. You want it to be like, ah, yes, this is me and my boyfriend, and this is the occasional concubine we bring into the bedroom. Like, and then second off, okay, I'll put it this way. Yeah, I get why she did it though, because like I said, she wasn't that cute of a woman. I'm not like, how do I put this? She kind of, I can't even compare her to like, because even the people that come to mind who I could say like, I'm not saying that she looked like the friend from the Princess Diaries, but like, she wasn't the most pretty looking. Like, she looked okay. You would look at her and you'd be like, that is indeed a woman. We can tell. You wouldn't be like, "Ooh, that's a woman right there." You'd be like, "Huh, that's a chick. That's an existing person." And I hate that to this day. I can't figure out how to describe her. It's like, okay, maybe slight receding hairline on one side. Her hair was very thin. Her chin was not very defined. Her jawline was not very defined. It's like she had that weird, like, no chin, but also mild double chin look, but it was mild, so she still looked cute with it, regardless. Her face card wasn't exactly giving the most. Her body was tea, though. I did like the body, even though it's like, could have used some work, but it's like, Simply put, I kind of understand why she would be scared that it's like, uh-oh, caramel skin, honey-eyed, motherfucking bad bitch with the rosy lips and the luscious D cups and the big fertile hips and the skinny little waist, and you want her? Like, if she was bisexual and not like male centered and not obviously in some sort of fucked up open relationship shit that doesn't seem like she even wants to be in it, she could have been like, hubba hubba, awooga, this seems perfect for me. I want the bad bitch. Yes, have her over. We can have all the orgies and have a nice rich girl life together and be in the Gucci store, blowing a bag on this nigga's dime and eating pussy and fucking and sucking. It could have been cool. But instead she kind of had like, I told this to many people, and even people who have studied like racial sciences have like, or studies, not sciences. That would be creepy if that. But still, they have. I've kind of pointed out. I was like, it kind of reminds me of like the laws, the Tignon laws back in the day, where like white women thought that black women's hair was going to be a threat for their husband's wandering eye, so they made black women like cover their hair because they deemed their hair like sexual, even though it was just existing in like what naturally came out of their scalp. And like they were, and my friend Christy, they also talked to me about it. They were like, yeah, that's true. And like they brought up a bunch of like shit about the whole Jezebel idea and how this girl basically was kind of pandering ideas that it's like, oh, this black woman is gonna steal you away with her whorish luscious sexual body. You need someone who's gonna be like pure and innocent like me, or I'm gonna fucking flip my lid or whatever, kind of like it's gave that heavily. And it's so weird that it felt racist to even make that connection, but then so I like sometimes it does feel racist to point out racism, but it's like, it's not my fault y'all niggas are doing it. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I'm gonna call it a duck. And even if it's a fucking platypus, we should question why it looked so much like a fucking duck in the first place, bitch. That's another topic I can go into in a second, but maybe I won't because I don't have that much energy left in me. But oh my god. And yeah, and it's just like, so let me get this straight. You are in a supposedly secure relationship and you're looking for someone else to fuck you and your man, and yet you're still afraid that your man's gonna get taken and stolen. And then on top of that, like, how do I put this? Because if it was just like her type, it's like, because I don't have a problem with someone having a racial preference. If she was like, if that was it, if it was just racial preference, but no, she was attracted to me to the point where she was like, she's way too attractive, and she's gonna be a threat to our relationship, and I can't have that. And I get it. Like, I respect her for being like, I'm not gonna be the side bitch in my own relationship, and not like, I get it to an extent. Like, if you look like Juno on fentanyl, and then your husband is looking at like fucking Lori Harvey. I mean, your boyfriend's looking at fucking Lori Harvey as a potential option for like an addition to the relationship. I see why you'd be scared. You'd have to. It's like, no, you have to get another Anna Kendrick fucking Juno looking bitch like me, or like, because it's like, I get it, like, you, why even want your position to be usurped? Why even risk it? Don't put yourself in that position. But she shouldn't be putting herself in that position in the first place, because she shouldn't be looking for another fucking potential girlfriend or whatever the fuck. Anyway, but her instincts were correct, because I guess this nigga kept trying to message me over the course of like several days, and I was just responding to be relatively civil and polite and stuff, and he kept being like, yeah, I really wanted to do it. It's a shame she's not on board. I really wanted to do it. And I don't know, but then out of nowhere, with messaging, he just sent a message that says, stop fucking talking to me, with a period. And I just thought to myself, that's a weird message that I honestly think she took his phone and sent that, because it didn't make any sense. But yeah. Like, oh my god, please stop trying, like, I don't know. And also, I think some people just shouldn't be poly, or whatever the fuck you do. And I think some people also do it just to be, like, toxic. Like, some people will try to be like, ooh, being monogamous is a trap, and suffocating, and blah, blah, blah. I see why you think that to an extent, but, like, you don't need to impose your ideas on other people, or, like, force them. It's like, if you want to be you can do it, just keep that shit far away from me. And there's been several times pages have gone viral for talking about poly shit, and it's some of the most awful shit ever. Like this redhead woman, she's the most popular one on TikTok. She'll get online and talk about, this is how you cope when your husband is out on a date with another woman. At first I felt sad, but then I recouped. I let out my emotions. I journaled out my thoughts. I thought to myself, what emotions am I repressing, and what fears do I have that I know are not true? And then it'll just be fucked up. It's like, ma'am, you mean to tell me that you were pregnant and paying like half of the bills, and your husband was just like, I want to just fuck other women as you're pregnant and suffering through this terrible pregnancy and working so many hours? If he really loved her, he would be working hard to make more money, or trying to like care for her and nurture her and the baby. He wouldn't be trying to stick his dick in any fucking Polly or Sally or Annie that walks past him, you know? And it's so weird. Sometimes I have to keep explaining to people, you're not a bad guy because you don't want to fuck a girl who has like fucking 6 other dicks on standby, and you are the 7th in line waiting, just waiting your fucking turn. It's okay for you to not want that. It's okay to want to feel like a priority or be someone's one and only, as long as you treat them well back. Like, I'm just saying. But what I also hate is when I meet dudes like that and they themselves also like aren't trying to be like good partners. Like a buddy of mine, I'm not gonna say their name, but simply put, with this guy, let's just say I heard this guy say for months so much shit about the, like, he was like, oh yeah, I'm seeing this one girl, and she's, Jesus Christ, now that I think about it, I've had a lot of instances of people being really, really, really ridiculously horny about me and comparing me to white women. Jesus. Yeah, the Jezebel stereotype is, anyway. And these same people say they're not racist. But with this nigga, I remember that he kept saying like, oh yeah, I've got a girlfriend, she's cute, she's fat, her body, like, she doesn't have a lot, like small cute little white butt, skinny thighs, white woman build. It's like, damn, that's fucked up to say, but he's also a white man, so he can say it. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just fucking sharing his message. And then he was like, yeah, she doesn't have like, thick, luscious, nice brown butt and thighs like you. And I just thought to myself, that's a weird thing to say to a platonic female friend, but okay. But I'll say it like this. And he was just, what did he say? He said something hella out of pocket. Oh yeah, but I heard him, like, he just was kind of like shitting on her body and repeatedly was like, yeah, like, I don't see a future with her. I don't see anything with her. I'm never going to be a stepdad to her kids, blah, 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 blah. And then eventually, guess what? Suddenly he had a random epiphany that he actually did have feelings for her, but then guess what? By that time she was already like, yeah, I want to be poly. I want to fuck other people. And then she also started fucking people that like she knew he hated. And then it's like, yeah, let's just say it's not fun seeing your friend break down into tears and crying and having fits in front of you. I just remembered he still owes me $1 and a drink. Yeah. Like, relationship so bad that we placed bets on like the specific way that she was going to ghost him after making plans to meet up with him. And I was specifically like, I was like, from the way her ego seems to be and how she likes to toy with you, I think that she's going to, and I explained exactly what like he was gonna happen, and let's just say it happened. Sorry, my hangover's kicking in 1 second. But I just kind of thought to myself, like, you didn't even want her for like ages, man, and you even got openly on microphones and made it clear that you weren't like really fucking feeling her like that. And then as soon as she starts like having fun with Timmy, Tommy, and Tammy and all these other niggas in town, then suddenly it's like, oh, she's the love of my life. She's the one I'm gonna marry. Hmm. Interesting. Because you also told me about the other bitches you had. Very interesting. Like, he can have all the bitches he wants. And as soon as she gets them, it's like, no. I don't know. Oh, also about prison reform. I think most shit can be reformed, but, or like, how do I put this? I think you can help out certain people. Like, if someone's a kleptomaniac, you can help them. If someone has intrusive thoughts or mental breakdowns or a lot of mental issues, you can help them. I think there's a lot of things you can do to genuinely help people. But in terms of like rape, no. And then in terms of someone who just wants to murder for the sake of murder, if they haven't done it yet, not like it's like, but if they have, it's like I do think you need to serve some time. But it also depends. Like, for example, if you're a fucking healthcare CEO, I'm not exactly like, it's like, yeah, free my nigga Luigi. But if it's someone who's like, yeah, like if it's some fucking Cain and Abel shit, or it's like, I'm gonna murder my fucking brother just because I'm slightly mad at Thanksgiving. It's like, yeah, you probably should go to jail for a bit. But I do still feel complex about jail because I don't think it should be like, hey, you committed a crime when you were like way long ago, way back in the day, and now you can, oh, like, yeah, because how do I put this? If someone did a crime in the 80s and they're only being released now, it's a, like, how are you supposed to be, you're not going to be set up for success. The world has changed rapidly, and then on top of that, like, yeah, how are you ever going to be fucking free? Like, no wonder people go right back to jail, because if you, like, yeah, I can't, like, if I was locked up for something in the 90s seems like it was a relatively simple time. Complex but simple, if it makes sense. More simple than today. And then now you're in the era of like Twitter and motherfucking a million, like, life quality got worse, rent got higher, jobs are even more inaccessible, like, just anything you can imagine. And then on top of that, social media, and then on top of that, like, the way phones are and just everything, dude. I'm just saying, like, I think that if you do go to jail and you did serve your time, I do believe you should be allowed to like enter society, as long as you actually show signs of improvement. Like, I'm just saying. I don't think, like, I get why some people would hesitate though, but I'll put it to you like this: a lot of people have done a lot of crimes. I had a date with a dude where I remember, like, when you first met him, you would have probably thought this is just some sweetie pie who has never done anything bad in his life ever, and he's such a simple soul. But then as time went on, bitch. But yeah, like, sorry, I got distracted for a second. But simply put, you would have looked at that nigga and been like, simple lily white asshole, probably went to some sort of like Ivy League school, probably a good guy. You'd never guess underneath all his clothes that he had an armful of sleeves and was terrible to almost every woman he's ever been with, and had a coke addiction that he eventually got over, and all this shit about him. You would never know that he stole like $10,000 from a business that he worked with, ever. Like, I do think that people deserve to go to jail for stuff like that. It's like you fucked up some innocent business just for greed and spent the money on bullshit. Mm. Why is everything wet? Oh yeah, why But the question is, how long should someone go to jail for that? And I get why someone would hesitate to give them a job, but I'd say it really depends case by case. Like, I'm just saying. Like, everyone's had a moment where they've had an opportunity to do something bad and did or did not. And it is important to not, but if someone seems like they showed remorse and did their time, and it's like, then cool. But like I said, it also depends on the fucking crime. Like, if you were punching your fucking girlfriend in the face and getting arrested or whatever, I see why they wouldn't want to hire you at a woman's shelter, for example. Like, that's important. Background checks are important. But I'm just saying, if it's like, why should someone who committed a crime that, like, it's like, okay, you whooped some guy's ass in a bar fight back in the day, or accidentally committed manslaughter or something. Like, shit happens. Sorry, it shouldn't have happened, but it did, sadly. You did your time. You should be able to go out and show that you've changed and work at an insurance company or a restaurant or start a business and not fail. Also, I think, like, I don't know, I think the system kind of is designed for people to fail because people want money off of the prison industrial complex. And you would make a, like, simply put, yeah. But then again, just because I know that doesn't inherently mean I don't think people should be in jail. Like, no, I think that some people deserve to. Yeah. And people don't like when I say that, but it's like, nigga, some people deserve worse than jail. Like the fucking CEO, for example. I'm just saying. Like, we should all be very fucking lucky that we have been socialized to be very peaceful, lovely people these days. I'm just fucking saying. Like, for example, with the Diddy shit, I'll put it to you like this. That is an example of someone where it's like, I think public beheadings should be a thing again. And I don't get why we are just, as a country, we're like, yeah, you know what, this dude definitely has been federally charged with a whole bunch of crimes, especially pedophilic ones. He should be president. It's just bullshit. Anyway, I think that's enough out of me today. I'm tired. Even though I've been laying down all day, but that's what happens when you have alcohol. Blame it on the Look at the blush in my cheeks. Ooh, I had a lot of. If you're ever like, oh, I want a drink, what does Timothy recommend? Get yourself a Shirley Temple and ask them to add whiskey and Red Bull. Like, the bartender who actually introduced me to whiskey Red Bulls, he stared at me, he was like, that's an interesting choice of drink. It was really fucking good, though. I'm gonna fuck. Sorry, I thought of something random. Alright, bye.